Hi everyone and welcome to my channel Tom Yoga Om. Today I haven't got a plan. I haven't made a schedule for what the class is going to look like, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because it's good to just be transparent and vulnerable. We're going to start today by coming down onto our hands and our knees and just coming to a child's pose, and let's take 10 deep breaths there to kind of just check in with our bodies. So start by bringing your knees wide, bring your feet together, and bring your hips back towards your heels. And then settle yourself down. Make sure your arms are relaxed and your legs are nice and wide. Soften through the neck and the shoulders. And just start by taking a deep breath in. And let's all exhale out of the mouth. And just feel your whole body release tension, tightness, soreness. And just take 2 more breaths like that to check in with how we're doing. And to bring ourselves a little bit closer to tuning in and tuning out the outside world. Let's do one more breath here in this way. Feel your hips soften, your shoulders soften, and now let's just take the remaining 7 breaths by breathing in and out through the nostrils. And as you exhale, breathe down into your belly and up into your chest. Feel the chamber of your lungs expand. As you exhale, soften through your hips, your back and your shoulders. Feel the weight of your arms and your legs on the floor. Feel the muscles on your face relax. Feel the space around your hips soften. And just notice what muscles you feel are engaging and are holding on here. I, for example, feel the muscles around the hips, the adductors, just a little bit tight today. And so what I'm going to do, and what you should do with the muscle that you feel is tight, or the muscles that you feel are tight, are just to try to let them go, let them soften just a little bit more than they are right now. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths in and out here. And with each exhale, just feel your body relax and let go a little more. And on this last breath in, follow the breath, feel it flow through you as you breathe all the way in. Just feel it go through the nostrils, into your throat, your belly, your chest, and all the way out again. Good, and then really gently start to wriggle your fingers and your toes, and just take your hands out in front of you and lift your palms up off the floor. Walk your hands out as far out in front of you as you can, stretching into your side body. And I want you to take 2 deep breaths into the sides of your ribcage here. Keep breathing into the belly as well. And as you exhale, keep your hands glued onto the floor. Just feel your shoulders soften. 1 more breath like that. Really breathe it in. And exhale to soften. Good, and then press into the tops of your feet, and with a little bit of strength in those legs, start to lift yourself up and forward into a tabletop position. You might feel some tightness in the fronts of your legs. That's normal and that's okay. We're just going to start by placing our hands underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath our hips, and just lift your back up to the ceiling. Lengthen out through the back of your neck by reaching your head forward. And take a big breath into your back, into the space between your shoulders. Press down into those hands so that you're using the strength of your arms, using the strength of your shoulders here, and not collapsing down into them. So you're lifting up as high as you can. And then just take one more breath in and out here, lifting up, pressing down one more moment. For one more moment. Good. From here, we're going to spread the hands apart, and I want you to point your index fingers, your first finger, forward, and press down into the knuckle of that finger. So feel it pressing down and gripping down into the floor. Press down into the knuckle of your thumbs. And from here, just get a sense that you're gripping down into the mat. And what we're just going to do is strengthen our wrists to begin with. So what I want you to do is just to start to circle your shoulders around your wrists as you press your knuckles down into the floor. And just notice how your wrists are feeling today. Hopefully they're okay. Remember to keep breathing. And notice how your shoulders feel as well, because as we circle our wrists, our shoulders move a little bit as well. So check in with that space as well. Notice how it feels and see if you can keep that strength in your body and keep pressing down and lifting up. Good. Let's take one more big breath in and out here. It's important to warm up your wrists, to warm up your shoulders before we flow into a class. And circle the other way. And let's just take 3 deep breaths in and out here. And remember to find your breath, to find your flow. One more. Good. And from here, I want you to tuck your toes under, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to warm up this time our hips. So with your toes tucked under, bring your hips back towards your heels and just press into your hands. So you're kind of in like a lifted child's pose. You feel that stretch in the arches of your feet. It's a really nice way to open up that space. Just take a big breath in, a big breath out. Maybe you press onto your hands. Make sure that it feels okay and that you're not hurting yourself by going in too deep. And on your next breath in, we're going to lift our chest over the top of our left wrist. So we're going to circle around in like a half moon shape and bring our torso and our chest over the top of our left wrist. Keep pressing into the knuckles and keep using your arms to lift you back up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, circle your hips and your chest back to center. And then inhale over to the other side, pressing into the knuckles of the thumb and the index finger, and exhale to circle back down to that central position. Just keep flowing like this, breathing in to lift forward and breathing out to press back, and breathing in to lift forward and breathing out to press back. Just do one more on each side here. The bigger you make this semicircle, the half moon shape, the more you're going to feel it in your hips. So go to a limit that feels good for you. You should feel a nice stretch. And just notice what's going on in that left hip and that right hip. I'm doing one more extra here. And let's come back to center. Good. Then we're going to lift ourselves forward into that tabletop position. And I want you to bend your elbows. And actually, before you do that, move your shoulders just slightly forward beyond your wrists. Then bend your elbows and lower yourself down with control onto your belly, onto your torso. Good. Take your hands under your shoulders, press your feet into the floor, drive your elbows back, lift up into a cobra. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then exhale, think of rolling your spine back down onto the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. 2 more. Breathing in, lifting up. Pressing the feet down. Think of someone pulling your elbows back. And exhale, lower down. And last one, inhale, lift it up. And from here, hold. Drive those elbows back. Think of reaching out through the top of your head to lengthen the spine. Take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, roll your spine down onto the floor. Good. Tuck your toes under and straighten your arms to lift up into a tabletop position. And then come back into your child's pose with active feet. And this time bring your forehead onto the floor. And stretch into the arches of your feet. Take a big breath in, a big breath out. And after your exhale, press back into those knuckles and of the thumbs and the index fingers, and simply straighten your legs to come back into your down dog. And please keep your knees bent for this first round here. We haven't opened up the hamstrings, so it's normal to feel a little bit tight. Gently walk your knees left to right. And just be okay with having a bend in the knees. Keep those arms feeling strong and keep using the strength in your arms to press down into the floor. Broaden your shoulders away from your ears, away from your neck. When I do this, I find that my lower back is a little bit sore. I've been nursing an injury there. So I'm just going to bend each knee really carefully with a lot of consideration. And let's take 2 more deep breaths in and out here and just focus on the breath. Focus on feeling the weight of your arms, the weight of your legs. Good. And when you're ready, come back to that neutral position in your downward facing dog and just start to walk your feet to the top of your mat, nice and slow. Oh, it's hard getting there when you got tight hamstrings. Take your hands onto your thighs. Inhale for a halfway lift. Lengthen out through the top of your head. And exhale, bend your knees, fold down. 2 more. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, generously bending those knees, folding down. And last one, full breath in. And after your exhale, I want you to bend your knees and just fold all the way down and hold here. Bring your hands onto the floor if you can, or hold onto your elbows. And just be really generous with the bend in those knees. So just let your hamstrings relax here as much as they can. So you shouldn't feel any strain in the backs of the legs. That's where the hamstrings are. And just breathe into your lower back, into your middle back, and into your upper back. And think of softening them as though when you soften them, your spine extends and relaxes a little more. Take 1 more breath here. Good. And then when you're ready, relax your hands down to the floor. Inhale for your halfway lift again. Exhale, bend those knees, fold forward. And this time we're going to lift ourselves all the way up to standing. So sweep your arms up and reach up to the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your hands back through to your heart center. And just relax your shoulders and your neck. We're just going to keep flowing here. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale, fold yourself all the way forward. Inhale up into your halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down. And from here, plant your hands onto the floor, fold forward. And from here, we're going to step ourselves back into a plank. So plant your hands down on the floor, step back into your plank, and drive your heels back behind you so that you can engage your thigh muscles. Press down into your hands, take a big breath in, lift your back up as high as you can. And as you exhale, lower yourself down all the way onto your belly. Use your knees if you need to. Take your hands under your shoulders. Inhale for your halfway lift. Breathing in, pressing the feet down, driving those elbows back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Drive those elbows back. Reach out through the top of your head. And exhale, lower down. And last one, lift it up. And just hold here for 2 breaths. So exhaling, inhaling, lifting up a little taller. Exhaling, hold. And take 1 more full breath in. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And exhale to lower down. Tuck your toes under. And again, just straighten your arms to lift up either into a plank or a tabletop. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. You can just pedal your knees out left to right. Notice if there's any difference in how open or closed your hamstrings feel. I find after a forward fold and a halfway lift, There's a little bit more openness there, but I'm personally feeling that lower back is a little bit tight still. So again, I'm just being really gentle with it. Just move to where your body feels safe and capable. And when you're ready, take a big breath in, lift your heels up off the floor, reach your hips up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, ground your heels down. From here, keep your right foot grounded, lift your left leg up off the floor and reach the leg back behind you. Just look underneath you and make sure that your toes are pointing down towards the floor. That's it. And lower your left shoulder down. Take another big breath in. And as you exhale, step the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Drop your back knee to the floor. Flatten the back foot out on the ground. And inhale to sweep your arms up. As you exhale, interlace your fingers, bring your hands down onto that left knee, and just sink your hips here. I want you to start to drag your left foot back in towards the center of the mat, so you're pulling it in, and I want you to kick your back foot down into the floor. So there's like a pulling back, a dragging back, and a kicking down motion. Take a big breath into your belly, into your chest, and you should start to feel a stretch in your right hip. If you don't, sink your hips down until you do. Try to keep your left knee above your left ankle. Take another few breaths here. Relax your shoulders. And on your next inhale, we're going to integrate the arms. So sweep your arms up as you breathe in. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And as you exhale, just sink your hips. One more full breath in. And a full breath out. Good. We're going to take our left hand onto our left hip. Inhale to reach our right arm up. And as you exhale, just reach your right arm over towards your left side. Keep kicking down through that right foot. Keep dragging that left foot back in. See if you can look up towards your right elbow. Just breathing into the right side of the body. Keep kicking down. Take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, just bring your right hand down onto the floor on the inside of your left foot. Press down into the floor and sweep your left arm up for a twist. You've got the option here of lifting your back leg up off the floor, off the ground, and then turn your left palm to face the front of the room, front of your mat. Got a helicopter passing by. Just take one more big breath in, press down into your left foot, your right hand, lift up through that left arm, and as you exhale, sweep that left arm back behind you. Bring your hands down onto the floor. From here, we're going to drop the back knee to the ground, and we're going to straighten that left leg to come into a half splits position. I want you to lift those left toes up off the floor. Take your hands onto your hips. Take a big breath into the belly and into the chest. And this is where the stretch in the hamstrings comes in. So as you exhale, kick that right foot down into the floor. Reach your belly and your chest forward and fold down. Good. You can take your hands either side of your leg or bring them onto your leg. And just let your head and your shoulders relax. Take 2 deep breaths in and out. Soften through your hamstring. Good, and when you're ready, I felt like I had a mosquito on my foot. We're going to straighten the left foot itself a little more so that we're bringing the toes onto the floor. Now, I don't often do this, but I've recently learned that it's a really good stretch into a different part of our leg. And so I'm going to integrate it. I'm going to lift ourselves up again to this halfway lift position. I want you to this time fold forward in the same way, but with your toes pressing down into the floor as best as they can. They're going to probably want to lift. Just try and press them down. And as you lower down, notice where in your hamstring you feel the stretch. Take a big breath into your belly and into your chest. And again, exhaling. Engage that left thigh if you can. Fold yourself down. Now for me, I feel it on the kind of like the middle part around my upper kind of hamstring. So this bone here is the femur. I feel it like in the middle. But what about you? What do you feel? Let's just feel whatever we're feeling. Let your head and your shoulders relax and take 2 deep breaths in and out. Good, and when you're ready, after the exhale, bend your left knee, glide yourself forward to the top of the mat, plant your hands onto the floor, step back into a plank, take a big breath in here, and as you exhale, we're just going to hold for another 2 breaths. Everyone's favorite, right? 2 more big inhales, press down into your knuckles, lift your shoulders up, use your arms. 2 more exhales here. And last full breath in and out, pressing down, lift your back up. And as you exhale, bring yourself down onto your belly. Use your knees if you need to. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, press down into your feet. Inhale, lift your belly and your chest up, squeeze your shoulders together, and try to relax the tops of your shoulders. Exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. Keep pressing the feet into the floor. And on this last one, we're going to hold for 2 breaths. Inhale, lifting up. Holding here, reaching out through the top of the head, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and take 1 more full breath in. Feel that stretch in the upper back, and exhale, lower down. Good, tuck your toes under, inhale up into your plank or your tabletop, and as you exhale, notice your left hamstring and how it feels as you bring yourself back into downward facing dog. So does it feel better or worse? For me, the difference is like black and white between the left and the right hamstrings. Just feel my left hamstring is nice and open. There's a bit of a flow happening as I move through it. It feels more stable. Muscles don't engage so much to kind of hold me in this down dog. They just feel good and strong. So we're going to bring that effect onto the right side. So when you're ready, plant your hands down. Broaden your shoulders away from your neck. Inhale, lift your heels up off the floor. Reach your hips up. And as you exhale, ground them down. Good. Engage the muscles of your left thigh if you can. Lift your right leg up. And just hold here. Have a look back at your right leg that's lifted. Make sure the leg is nice and straight and that your right toes are pointing down. Lower your right shoulder a little bit. Take a big breath in. And exhale, step your right foot forward to the top of the mat. Drop your back knee to the floor. Flatten your back foot out onto the ground. Sweep your arms up, breathe it in. And as you exhale, interlace your hands, bring them down onto that right knee, sink your hips. Good. First breath in, lift up again, and drag that right foot inwards. Kick that left foot down into the floor. Just hold here for 2 breaths. Find that breath, find its flow, and just notice how you feel. Good. When you're ready, inhale, sweep your arms up, relax your shoulders as you do so, and keep those legs engaged. And something you might like to try and do is either look up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on where you are, and see if you can kind of tune out the visual distractions that are around you and keep your awareness, keep your consciousness down on those feet, engaging with the floor, not just in a physical way, but in a mental way. And if you want a challenge to see if this is working, you can close your eyes if you want. If your legs are engaged, if you practice, you'll feel like you can balance here for as long as you want. And if you wobble, kick down into the floor a little more. And if you fall, it's all good. We're not too far from the ground. Alrighty, take a big breath in, lift your arms up. And with that same relaxed state, just take your right hand onto your right hip. Reach your left arm over towards the right side. Have a go at looking up towards your left elbow. And the key here for your neck to feel like it's not cramping up is to relax your left shoulder. See if you can reach with that left arm, yet relax your left shoulder. What does that feel like for you? Let's take 1 more breath here. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest, especially on that left side, and then sweep that left arm down onto the floor. Lift your left knee up off the ground and reach your right arm up for the twist. Turn your right palm to face forward. And again, see if you can relax your right shoulder, yet extend up through that right hand. Take 3 deep breaths. 2 and 3. And then bring that right hand back behind you and onto the floor. Almost there, last bit of our sequence. Then we're winding down. We're going to straighten that right leg and lift ourselves up into this half splits, half Hanumanasana. Take your hands onto your hips. Just straighten this leg. Some of us might get here and we might need to have it bent because our hamstring is still a little bit tight. It doesn't want to do this. But to straighten it, all you need to do, besides be really flexible and open, is have that right thigh engaged. When we engage the muscles on this side of the foot, the opposing side extend and lengthen. Same with our tricep. When you engage this muscle, the opposing side extends and lengthens. We'll go into that in another episode. But just start by engaging that thigh. Take your hands onto your hips. Breathe into your belly and your chest. And as you exhale, just reach them forward. And once you feel that stretch in your hamstring, just hold there. That might be your limit. It might just be your limit for a breath or for the rest of the time that we spend here. And that's okay. Sometimes we go further. Sometimes we need to back off. That's my life lesson at the moment when it comes to my yoga practice. Just learning that just because I could do some things in the past doesn't mean I can just walk right back into them. It's not like riding a bike sometimes. And sometimes it is. Just relax your head and your shoulders. Take another big breath in and out. Good. See, I can feel it softening there on that third breath. I can bring my fingers down and my hamstring feels all right. Keep that right thigh engaged. And then just start by bending your right knee, planting your foot on the floor, and lifting yourself back up that way. It's a little bit safer. And we're just going to straighten that right foot out on the floor. So last time on the opposite side, when we folded forward, I felt the stretch here. Is it going to be the same on this side? Well, I guess it depends on how open each side is, right? And what's going on in both legs. So see what you feel. Take a big breath into your belly, into your chest. And as you exhale, reach your torso, your whole trunk forward. Keep trying to press those feet down. At the moment, I just feel it in the top of my foot. Wow, so flexible. I want to keep that right thigh engaged so that that right leg is nice and strong. There we go, that's where I feel it. It's really in the front of the foot here for me, in the back of the leg. Let's just spend 3 deep breaths in and out here. And just feeling whatever you feel. And trying to find calmness in the stress of it all. And in the stretch of it all. Good, and when you're ready, bend your right knee, just bring yourself forward. And from here, we're just going to change it up. We've done enough vinyasas for today. We've done enough cobras for today. We're just going to step that left foot to the top of the mat, come into a yogi squat, Malasana. Turn side on so you can see me. Let's bring our arms onto the insides of our legs, our palms together. And from here, if you find you can't get your heels down onto the floor, you could take a brick that I've prepared conveniently. You might have, you might not have, you might need to pause this video. You could take a brick underneath your foot like so, on either side, or you could even take a brick underneath you and sit onto it, or if you don't have a brick or a block or whatever they want to call it, then you can just take a pillow, or sometimes a rolled up towel is good. Towel is good. And what we're looking to do here is open up onto the insides of the groin, the adductors. So the ones that draw our legs inwards. And to do that, we obviously want to stretch them. So we're going to press them out with our arms. So bring your elbows onto the insides of your knees. This brick is a bit awkward for me. So I'm going to move it. I want you to gently press out. And now to make sure that we're not just overly stretching our legs, at the same time, I want you to draw your knees inwards. Just find a resistance between the two. You might feel, if you pay attention, that your lower back starts to open up. Let's just take our hands together, bring them together gently. Draw your chin down, relax your shoulders. Take 3 deep breaths and notice what's happening in your hips. Good job. And just relax your hands down onto the floor. From here, we're going to move that brick, if it's here, out to the side. I want you to make your way onto your back and bring your hands behind you. Take yourself into this M shape, M-asana. It's not called that, but that's what I'm going to dub it, M-asana. And from here, we're just going to drop our knees to the right, look to the left, and just keep repeating this. So lifting your knees up, dropping them to the left, looking to your right. Just keep flowing like this and try not to, go too deep. You're just looking to relax into those hips to kind of release any tension that might have built up from that last yogi squat. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral position and move your hips towards your heels. Roll yourself all the way down onto the ground. And just make sure that your fingertips and your heels are touching. We're going to do 2 more postures here. Just start by pressing your hands and your forearms into the ground as much as you can. Try to relax the tops of your shoulders again, and then with an in-breath, press into your feet and slowly start to roll your hips up off the ground, coming into a bridge pose. You move your chin away from your chest so as to protect the neck and the shoulders, and then squeeze your glute muscles, your butt muscles. Just take 2 deep breaths in and out here. And again, try to find some stillness and some calmness as you breathe, as you move. And then take 1 more big breath in. And as you exhale, roll yourself down nice and slow. Good. And draw your knees into your chest, give them a gentle squeeze. Circle them a couple of times. Nice and easy to massage into the lower back. And circle them the other way. And the last posture we're going to do here today is we're going to drop our left foot to the floor, take our right ankle onto our left knee, and draw our left leg in for this supine pigeon pose. And what you're looking for is a stretch in the outside of the right leg, your piriformis. Now this asana doesn't look incredible, but the muscle it stretches is one that we often neglect. It can get so tight and cause us lower back pain. So this one that runs along the back here. And when it gets all tightened up, our lower back doesn't like it. We can sometimes find ourselves having sciatica, or just a really tight IT band, which is a muscle that runs along here. And so just giving it a bit of care can really make a difference long term. Just take 1 more breath here. And when you're ready, relax your left foot onto the floor, just change sides. Draw that right leg in. Well, this one's a lot tighter for me. It's good to keep your feet active as well, so the toes pulling back towards the knees. It's just good practice to do that. Take 2 more breaths here. See if you can breathe into your stretch. One more. Good, and then really gently lower your legs back down onto the floor. And we're going to bring 1 hand onto the belly, 1 hand onto the chest. And just settle yourselves in. Keep your knees bent for the time being. Take a big breath in, feel your hands rise up. And exhale out of the nostrils, just relax. Get all of the air out of your lungs. Let's take 9 more breaths here to close the class. For your arms and your legs hang heavy, and your hips and your shoulders relax. Just take 4 more deep breaths in and out here. See if you can feel any other part of your body that might be holding tension. Just relax a little more. And take your final big breath in and out. And listen to the other helicopter. If you want to stay here, you can. Stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, just roll over onto your side. Take a breath in and out on your side. Think of this as the transition between the start and the end of the class. The end of the class and the rest of your day, your evening, your morning, wherever you are. When you're ready, press yourself up to a seat. And though we're coming back into the world, coming off of our mat into the space, just for a couple more breaths, let's keep the silence or the stillness in our bodies. Bring your hands through to your heart center and let's take a big breath in, a big breath out. The light in me recognizes the light in you. I hope that you enjoyed this class, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, leave me a comment if you've got suggestions. Thank you again. Namaste.